For generations, the American colonies effectively governed themselves. Operating under a British policy known as salutary neglect, local assemblies managed their own trade, taxation, and legal affairs with minimal interference from London. The French and Indian War ended in 1763, leaving Britain with massive imperial debts. To pay for the conflict, Parliament abandoned its hands-off approach and looked directly to the American colonies for revenue. This sheet of one-penny stamps enforced the 1765 Stamp Act, taxing American legal documents, newspapers, and playing cards. The tax was low, but colonists were furious. With no elected voice, they faced legislation drafted by distant commissioners operating 3,000 miles away. Parliament argued that the colonies were legally subordinate corporations that enjoyed virtual representation. This meant British lawmakers supposedly considered the interests of the entire empire, regardless of who actually elected them. The colonists rejected this logic, demanding actual local representatives. Resistance escalated rapidly. Factions like the Sons of Liberty boycotted British goods, and in 1773 dumped heavily taxed tea into Boston Harbor. In response, Britain passed a series of punitive laws to revoke local self-government and deployed troops to occupy Massachusetts. At this stage, the colonists were not trying to create a new nation. They were fighting a conservative rebellion to protect what they saw as their traditional historical rights as English subjects. By August 1775, King George III officially proclaimed the colonies to be an open rebellion. The door to peaceful reconciliation was firmly shut. This pamphlet, published in early 1776, shifted the public conversation. Thomas Paine pointed out the geographic absurdity of an island perpetually governing a continent, urging his readers to view themselves as part of a distinct American system. That summer, the Second Continental Congress appointed a committee of 5, featuring Thomas Jefferson as the primary author, to draft a formal separation. Here, the ideology pivoted. Congress abandoned arguments for English rights in favor of universal human rights, declaring all men are created equal. Yet this definition was immediately contested. Abigail Adams warned if women were denied a political voice, they would foment their own rebellion. By grounding their argument in universal equality rather than British legal precedent, the colonies transformed a local tax dispute into a radical revolution aimed at replacing the existing social order. A Declaration of Independence requires military force to back it up, and initially the Continental Army was losing the physical war against the British regulars. The momentum shifted in late 1777. At the Battle of Saratoga, American forces captured a 6,000-man British invasion army, proving to the watching world that they were a viable military threat. That victory provided the proof needed to secure an indispensable military and financial alliance with France, which brought crucial naval support and funding to the American cause. The strategic climax arrived in 1781. George Washington and French forces executed a massive troop movement south to Yorktown, Virginia. The French fleet blocked the coast, while Allied land forces completed a pincer movement, cutting off British General Cornwallis's escape routes. With his army surrounded and exhausted, Cornwallis surrendered. This crushing defeat shattered London's political will to continue fighting, proving that the ideas of 1776 could physically survive the military might of a global empire. The 1783 Treaty of Paris officially recognized the independence of the United States. That the grueling work of actually governing 13 distinct sovereign states was just beginning. During the war, the Continental Congress drafted the Articles of Confederation to coordinate the military effort and create a formal structure of shared sovereignty known as a perpetual union. The Articles contained a fatal structural flaw. The national government was intentionally left powerless to levy taxes. Without revenue, it could neither pay off mounting international war debts nor compensate its own veterans. Having won the war, the new nation was on the verge of collapsing from within due to its inability to engineer a functional representative government. The threat of internal revolt and economic failure drove state delegates to convene in Philadelphia. They quickly realized they had to entirely scrap the Articles of Confederation. This document, the new United States Constitution, engineered a powerful federal framework. It centralized authority to tax and regulate trade, while restraining that power through a strict system of checks and balances among the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. To appease those who feared this new centralized power, the government drafted the document seen here, the first 10 amendments, known as the Bill of Rights. They explicitly guaranteed the very inalienable rights the colonists had fought a war to secure. The American Revolution concluded with the military defeat of the British Empire, but its lasting achievement was taking abstract theories of natural rights and engineering them into the world's first modern constitutional republic.